What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Minecraft Survival Season 2. Actually hasn't been that long, comparatively speaking, since the last episode. But one big thing has happened, that being that the new update has come out, so as expected, we're going to be doing an episode today. I have a couple things that I want to work on, so we're going to do those, not just a generic, let's go out into the world and explore kind of thing, because I've already done that on my own time. So we'll quickly go over some of the stuff that I have been doing. But perhaps the most exciting thing that we're going to do today is finish that village project. I hear bats. I wonder where they are. Anyways, not important right now. So I expanded the storage up 1 unit so that now I have room for the new blocks. So we got deep slate, amethyst. What else is new? Copper. You can get a lot of this stuff pretty fast, which is nice. Some of the raw ores are going to be in here. What else? Azalea and moss. Moss is a really big deal. We'll get to that in a moment. Some of the glowberries and drip leaf and roots and whatnot. Now, I searched for a while, and I did not find any lush caves. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the lush caves might actually be coming next update. And I can't remember exactly what was split off in 1.17 Part 1 and 1.17 Part 2, or whatever. So, yeah. Fortunately, you can get the drip leaf and stuff from traders. And then the berries I think I got from minecart chests. In addition to that, we have gotten the glow squid, so the glow sacks that make the text glow on stuff. I've applied some of that in here, but I don't actually have all of the item frames glowing yet. Oh, and I did finish my little arch of ores here. Kind of nice. In fact, one of the things we're going to be doing today is making a farm for the glow squids, so that I can get a bunch more of the... That's going to bug the crap out of me. Where is it? Must be upstairs. Is this thunder or just regular rain? Looks like regular rain. Okay. That's another thing we're going to be doing today. I got a few little projects and then a couple, farms that we're going to be making today. But before we do anything else, let's go ahead and take a look at the village project. If you remember last time when we built the alternate gate, sort of an alternate exit to the village, I had basically one section left to complete. And I have completed it. Got these azaleas growing out here now to fill in the space a little bit. But let's take a look at the actual village now. And then we'll talk about moss, because moss is like honestly one of my favorite features of the new update, believe it or not. So I think all of this was already here. I think. But what I did was fill in the last remaining section. Ooh, I saw a flash. Must have just been a graphical glitch. And I also started filling in beds in all these buildings, so that's why you see villagers everywhere. Which is kind of what I wanted. Conduit power. Okay. I have a conduit over there that I added, but I thought I needed to step into water to get that effect. Oh well. Anyways, this is the last remaining section. The gate is straight ahead there, and this is what I filled in. I built this big building, which is supposed to be some sort of, like, miners guild or something. That's ERS, of course. Some other sort of generic buildings. And then this guy. I think this looks pretty cool. It's actually a design that I copied from Season 1. I built this inside my original walled city that sort of became the basis for all my walled cities in the future. And then, of course, here's the gate that we built last time. So, let us talk about moss. Moss is one of my favorite features because the moss block can be crafted into carpets and is almost the same color as the plains grass. I mean, if you weren't paying attention, you probably didn't even notice that there is moss everywhere around the village now. And the reason being is, were I to break it, there are jack-o'-lanterns underneath, which means that you can make some incredibly unobtrusive lighting. I mean, let's just kind of wander around. I placed it down everywhere that was a little bit dark, and I think that the village is now 100% lit. As I always say, this channel is always 100% lit, but you get my point regardless. Yeah, so before I was having a lot of trouble trying to light all these little spots all around, and I didn't really want to just put, you know, like lanterns everywhere or torches everywhere. That just doesn't look that great in my opinion. So instead, we have these moss blocks that are sort of lingering around. And really, if you are even slightly far away, you can't even see them. And even from close up, they just sort of look like a little bit of texture. Let's take a bird's eye view here, by the way. From up here, why is there rain above the clouds? We won't get into that. From up here, I mean, you really can't see the moss blocks if I just sort of glide down. But I think overall, the village project turned out pretty well, and I'm really happy with the way it looks. Now the plan was to, I guess I'm getting conduit power because it's raining. I've never really used conduits before. I put this one in just recently. In between this episode and the previous one. Just for decoration there. But yeah, I'm actually really happy with the way this turned out. And the plan was to then start expanding outwards and building new villages and settlements and structures out in the world. However, the fact that the update was split into two kind of killed that ambition for now. The reason being that any distance that I go out into the world, I'm going to have to either go out further or delete those chunks in order to get the new caves when they're finally added. So for that reason, we're going to be hanging out at base camp for a little while longer. Oh, I mentioned, though, that the village was not quite done yet. I wanted us to be together when I finished it, and there's one last thing that I have to do to finish it. Yeah, I really like the way it looks, especially from up here. The very last thing that I have to do to finish this village is place this door. And with that, the village project is finished. Aren't you glad you were here for it? I know I am. I mean, obviously I would have been here for it because it's my village, but whatever, we'll move on. So really quick, before we move on to our first project, let us take a look at the map, which, by the way, is using the glow item frames now, so I don't have that stupid lighting around the edges that had dark in the middle, and yeah, it was terrible. This is so much better. But it looks really nice, I think. You notice I got a couple spots laid out for new structures. Something's going to go here, and then something's going to go up top here. I'm not quite sure what yet, but we'll figure it out. But for now, yeah, I like it. So what are we actually doing today? Well, we have a few of these new blocks, and what I thought we would do is set up a couple farms for these new blocks. Nothing super fancy, but I'll show you where I'm going to put them. And I kind of like it. Hopefully it doesn't start thundering, because one of the other things we're going to do is go around and place lightning rods. You'll notice I had like one or two maybe around, but I didn't really lay out everything yet. Once I have the lightning rods and all the lighting from the moss, and I think we can finally start playing on normal mode again. The thing is, as I mentioned, I always play on peaceful, one, because it's annoying to eat, but also because the villagers... Is that thunder or is it turning nighttime? I'm scared. I'm going to go rest. The villager pathing, like, to this day, breaks all the time. And so the villagers get stuck outside their houses and die when it's dark, which is super annoying, as you might imagine. Okay. So the spot that I decided to put these farms, because I don't want to do anything too grand and crazy in here, that's going to be for when the actual next update hits. I'm probably going to make like another settlement somewhere that might have a lot of automatic farms and such. But for now, I went ahead and expanded this well downwards. You remember it went to about here, and I had the podzol and all the nether stuff that I would farm in here. So what I did was I built 2 additional rooms here and here. And then I dug down some more and built 2 additional rooms here and here. For just little non-automatic farms, these are actually great. Like, they're the perfect size, they take up basically no room, and it's almost infinitely expandable because I'm just going down into the ground and there's nothing down here. So let's get a couple of these set up. 2 of them are going to be really simple, and then 1 is going to be not quite as simple. The first one that we're going to do is, well, we'll just go in here, I suppose. And we're going to set up a root farm. Now, unfortunately, the roots apparently do not grow, as I found out, which kind of sucks. Oh, I think that they should, personally. Oi. Like, even when you bone meal them, they only go down one block, not any more than that. I think it would be kind of a cool feature if the roots did go down more. And I could, you know, plant them in the ceiling here and then kind of wait. But alas. I do want to get to the glow squid farm as well, so if this starts to take too long, then I'll do a cut. But we're just going to put roots all along the ceiling here, and that should be fine. I can come in and bone meal it and shear it or whatever. I'm trying to remember what even the block is that you use. It's shears, right? I haven't gathered a ton of roots, as you can tell. Hopefully I have enough here. I think this is 11 by 11, so yeah, I should have enough if that's the case. All right, then we'll just throw them in here. Dang it. There's one thing I didn't test is if it drops rooted dirt when you break it with your hands, but apparently it does, so that's good. I do have my shovel on me, right? Yeah. I do have that skeleton farm that I made way back in Season 1. I have to teleport to it, but I can use it, you know, for infinite bone meal. Because it yields quite a bit. And I'm going to have to do something with the ground here as well, because I don't want it to just be cobblestone. One thing that's kind of nice, though, is that all of this, of course, doubles as a mushroom farm. Granted, I don't really use mushrooms ever for anything, but if I ever decide to, well, we got these little mini mushroom farms going on the side. I actually just gathered them, and you get quite a few, actually. I mean, they don't grow overly fast or anything, but... So yeah, something like that. And then I think what we'll do is actually make this one the glowberry one. So I'm just going to go along here and basically plant all these in the ceiling. And they should start growing. That's my understanding anyway. If I'm wrong, I'm sure someone is rubbing their temples and shaking their head. But if I can plant it there, I would assume it grows, right? But I really haven't messed with these too much. I just got some from some minecart chests, and that's about it. Da 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 da. Cool. Now those should start to grow. It looks like I already saw some grow. So that's good. This will be a pretty good source of these. Not too bad. Let me go ahead and do a cut here, and we'll set up the other side for roots, because I don't want this episode to get overly long, and I'll be back with you. Okay, so having finished those two, let's go down and take a look at what they turned out like. I went ahead and bone mealed this one a little bit to give an idea of what it would kind of look like. Definitely, if I'm planning to use these roots, I'm going to need to set up some sort of automatic farm, but for now, I mean, it's very unobtrusive. Like, with that closed, I would never, ever see it or have to worry about it, ever, so that's fine. And then these, I was very surprised how fast these grow, because just in the time that I was setting that other one up, we ended up with this. Oh, by the way, I ended up going with moss for the ground. I think it looks nice. And then, of course, I can use that same lighting trick, which is going to be one of my favorite things from now on. Definitely. I guess the one thing that is a bit of a bummer, or maybe not a bit of a bummer, depends on how you're looking at it, is the moss block will not change depending on what your biome is. So it won't change colors, which means that, let's take a look actually. So over here in the plains, I mean, you really can't see it unless you get up very close. You know, if I'm just walking by, probably didn't even notice that there's some there, there's some here, here, over here, over here. But were we to go to a different biome, like this is actually swamp, then you can really see it and it kind of stands out. So it might be a better idea in that situation to use it as a barrier rather than just throwing it on the ground, you know? Because if I were to put it like there, it's pretty obvious. I mean, it doesn't look bad necessarily. It's still sort of a complementary color, but yeah, not quite as invisible. All right, so the next farm that we are going to set up is a, what's it called? Dripstone farm. And in the interest of doing that, I have dug out 2 more of these rooms. And the dripstone is in one of them here. This one. So in order to do the dripstone farm, what we actually have to do is place a layer of water above these blocks. So in the interest of doing that, this is actually down 1 block more than between here and here, because I measured it, and we need an extra block here. For the first time in history, I have remembered my scaffolding, and so we're going to be using that as we dig this out. So what we'll do is we'll dig out the ceiling here, and then I need to dig out this next layer up and put a layer of water there. And then we'll get the dripstone set up, and should start generating dripstone. Now dripstone, of course, how do I place this? There we go. Dripstone is, of course, very slow to generate. However, yeah, I better grab that, huh? It's not exactly a block that I'm going to be using all the time. So until I need more of it, rather than building an automatic farm, again, I'm just going to go with this small manual farm. Okay, that was going on a little bit long, so I decided to do a little cut there. You're welcome, I suppose. We're going to need to fill in this entire top layer with water. So in the interest of doing that, I have a bunch of buckets with me. Get all this stuff off the ground for now, I guess. I think I have a bunch of buckets anyway. There they are. And I think that if I jump, I can reach. Fortunately, I have my infinite water source right here. And as I start to fill in more of this, I don't think we'll have to do every single block because it should convert some of them into source blocks anyway. I think. I'm not some sort of elite Minecraft scientist. I know some things about the game and others I mess with until I get them right. But I think were I to fill in the corners and the outside barrier first, that's going to be the best way to do it. Aren't you glad that I brought a ton of buckets instead of, like, having you all sit here while I refill over and over? I mean, the thing is, I do need a source block, rather, as far as I know, to actually get the dripstone to form, so maybe I should just make sure that I've filled every single one, although it appears that it's filling in. I think I'll be able to see where it's missing. Yeah. Don't worry, we're almost there. Yeah, see, I can very clearly tell where there's no source. We're going to do a much more complicated version of this in a moment, too. Okay, so as far as I can tell, all of these are probably source blocks. I think I need to get rid of these little gaps here, and then I'll be good. Okay. Yeah, anywhere that I see one of these little gaps. It's about to get really dangerous because I'm going to run out of air here. I don't know. Does that look good? I think that looks good. Might have seen one over here just now. Whatever. Let's step in the door. There's something rather charming and mystical about that, isn't there? Okay, let's get the dripstone. And the dripstone will go here. I should have enough. I did count. You can get a lot of this stuff just from, you know, kind of exploring the world, though. I discovered. Because all that I have is really just from grabbing some of it in my adventures. Wait, what am I doing? I just filled in the wrong block. Okay, hold that thought. Okay, nothing to see here, just me being a complete and utter buffoon. The whole reason that I dug out that top layer is so that we could have a layer of water above the dripstone, which is what we now have, so that at least is fixed now. Gosh. Okay, so from here, I'm going to go ahead and fill the entire ceiling with dripstone. So let us do that. Oh, and one thing I wasn't really that aware of was the fact that it actually places off-center, which is kind of cool. So it doesn't place directly in the center of the block, you know, and you get a little bit of variation, as you can see here. And I think this will actually look kind of neat when it's done. Oh, you know, one thing I didn't check, can we do this? Oh. We can. Interesting. I guess that's good, because otherwise if you were using this as a decoration, you'd have to wait for it to grow like that. And my understanding is that the dripstone takes, like, forever to grow. Alright, I'm going to need this later, or right now, but I don't have any more item frames on me. I'll throw these in here for now. Cool. And because I have dripstone on the ground, or maybe it even works on regular stone, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it looks good this way. They should also start generating on the ground as well, with a small chance, and then we'll get, like, stalactites and stalagmites. Stalactites being the ceiling, stalagmites being the floor. Yeah, it should be pretty good. Alright, so let us take these, and we'll move on to our next little project here. Oh, hold on. Oh, yep. Oh, it even goes on the glowstone. Interesting. Did not know that. Perfect. And next room. So this one's going to be a little bit more complicated. You may notice the lava buckets. Yeah, we're going to be making a lava farm in here. So the way that you do that, my understanding of it anyway, is that you're going to do the same thing here with the dripstone, and then put cauldrons underneath and a layer of lava up above. Now you can use this to generate water as well, but I literally have an infinite water source right here, and you can make that super easily. But this will be the first, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but the first completely renewable lava source, albeit a slow one. So we're going to do the same thing. Let me go ahead and dig out the ceiling, and then I'll be with you in a moment. Okay, so things are about to get a little bit weird. I brought this fire resistance potion because I'm not going to have myself die while doing this. Alright, we're on a timer now, but 8 minutes should be more than enough time. What I got to do is place lava blocks all the way across here, and what I'm thinking for now is perhaps I make little walkways. So this is, I think, 11 across. So we could go 3... walkway of 3 and 3. Or we could go 4 and a walkway down the middle. But for now, I think I'm going to do a 3x3 starting here. So I guess this is probably going to burn the scaffolding, but that's really not that big a deal. So starting here, right? Yes, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, I didn't really plan this out in the sense that I don't know for sure that the lava is not going to burn the things that are above me. Oh, this is already a nightmare. Okay. Okay. So I did... Oh boy. This is why I never work with lava. So I did this block right here, right? So we need to do... So here's the wall, and we went in 1. So this block right here, which means I need to do this block, right? Boom. This one. This one. This one. This one. I might have doubled up a couple of those. Yeah, I definitely did. Alright, we're going to do what we can here, and then I will try and fix this as best I can after a brief cut. Alright, well, I'm sure I'm going to probably go with a different design for the floor, but I just put netherrack down for now. Here's something interesting. My understanding of this was that it had to be a source block. However, you can clearly see that the ones over here... So the source blocks are these 27, this 3x9 right here. But all these ones are also dripping, which would lead me to believe that those actually will work as well. So we're going to test it. What I was planning to do for now was lay out 27 cauldrons, like so. And then lay another set down here. However, I'm going to go ahead and do this because I'm curious. Like, it's even dripping here. Well, I'll just put out all the cauldrons that I have for now. Like that. And we will let it sit while we work on our other thing and see if these ones fill as well. Because that's actually huge, and if I had known that, then I could have just placed lava at specific points, and I wouldn't have needed, you know, 120... What is it? I think this is 11 by 11, so yeah. Like 121 or whatever. So I basically wasted a bunch of lava, but it's okay because I'll be getting it back in here. Interesting. Very interesting. I guess I can put a lava bucket there eventually, but for now, we'll leave it at that since I don't currently have any lava buckets now. Very interesting. Let's check the progress of this, by the way. Pretty decent progress already. I mean, I haven't been over there that long. It looks kind of neat, though, actually. I kind of like it. Anyways, let us go ahead and quit this for now. We'll let those things work. And actually, let's take a look at the glowberries. Holy cow, those grow fast. Those grow really fast. Well, interesting. So these mini farms, the mini farms that we are building today, that's mini as in quite a few, and mini as in small, might actually be relatively effective. Well, I have one more farm that I want to build this time, so let me go gather the materials for it, and we will get ready. So I was trying to figure out exactly where I was going to put this thing, and I had a couple ideas for it. I think I've settled on which one, but the options that I was going over were, shoot, we could always put it in here, but I think I'm gonna wait on that. Reserve this for future farms. The other thing that I was thinking of was maybe putting it here. And that could be kind of neat to do. I could maybe build a structure around it or something, because I do need something here, but I think I'm going to put something else here. So what I ultimately decided was we're actually going to put it here. I like the way this looks, and we're going to add a little bit of a functional aspect to it. So I went ahead and dug down. The thing is, the glow squids, from my understanding, will only spawn below Y55, I think it is. So ground level here is 63. And I went ahead and dug down to 44, which means I can make this 9 tall and still be okay. Then what you're going to do once you get down to your desired depth is dig out a 9 by 11 rectangle, which I am in the process of doing. I'm actually probably just going to cut here and then finish it, because do you really want to sit here while I go like this? Probably not, especially since I have to dig out a rather large area. Okay, well, as per usual, it's a good thing that I decided to do a cut, because I've changed the design like 4 times since I started. But I think it's a little bit better now. So first of all, I got water elevators going up and down. Pay no attention to the fact that this is all cobblestone. It's going to be different once I actually figure out how I want to build it. But, yep, that's pretty convenient. And it turns out that I can fit the 9 block required space in here. I'm probably going to end up using tinted glass for this, but I don't actually have enough amethyst shards at the moment, so that's why. Eventually this is going to have to all be filled with water in order to get this thing to work, but for now I noticed that our episode is getting a little bit long, so we're going to hurry this along. The first thing that we're going to do is make a simple minecart collection system. like so. By the way, worth mentioning, I looked it up. The actual design for this was by a fellow, goes by the name of Tim Be Nice. So go check out his channel. The video actually only has like less than 10,000 views. So it seems like not a ton of people have been using this. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So all we're doing here is setting up a minecart that basically goes around in a circle. And then at a certain point we will put a hopper so that it can grab the items. However, I actually decided that since I think this farm actually works pretty quickly, instead of putting 1 collection chest, we're going to put 4 double chests. And I can actually expand that later. But for now, let's just set up 1 to see how it works. And then I'll get to building this thing so that we don't go for a super, super long episode. So we'll just put a hopper, well, we'll put a chest down first. Here. And then a hopper going into the chest. Cool. And then we'll start our tracks going all the way around. Alright, so now when the minecart goes around, it'll just endlessly go around in a circle here. And let's say it were to pick up some glow sacks on the way. It would deposit them into this chest, one at a time, of course, which is not particularly fast, but I don't think this thing's going to be generating glow sacks at such an alarming rate that that's going to be too big a deal. But in the interest of speeding up the collection process a little bit, as well as increasing the capacity, we're going to put more than 1 chest here, so that was, what, 1 from the edge here, so here. And then on top of the minecarts, or on top of the rails, I guess, we're going to have a layer of magma blocks. Reason being is that these are going to suck any items down once the water is set up. So basically any glow sacks that come to the edge here are going to get immediately sucked downwards and then picked up by the hopper minecart. Which means that, of course, we now have to fill in this entire thing with water. So let us do another cut. Okay. So here's what we look like now. So the idea here is that any glow sacks that reach the edge are going to be pulled down to the bottom like so. Get picked up by the cart, as I mentioned. However, there is one additional thing that we have to do, and that is to go 1 layer above our water and make... Hold on, is this right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I did the wrong side. I did the wrong side. Okay. So we need to create some water here that will push the drops to the edge, because you can imagine that if a glow squid dies in the middle, it'll just float here forever, right? So instead, we're going to have it go out this way. So I guess what we got to do then is... There we go. So we'll just take these water buckets and go like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I went the wrong way again, didn't I? Oh dear, how did this happen? No, I guess we're correct here. Panic attack there for a second. Am I missing? Go down. Okay, fine. We'll do it this way. I thought I would only need 9 for some reason. Whatever. So anyways, you can see that the water is now pushing in this direction. And what we're going to do is break these temporary blocks. And that should connect to the water here. Yep. Good to go. So the thing is, right, if the glow squid dies above the magma blocks, it's not going to matter because it's going to get sucked down anyway. We just have this here in case they die in the middle. Basically, the water will then push them to the edge. And everything should, in theory, work. Alright, so it appears that it does work. The only issue with it, really, is that it only works when you are a certain distance away. Because, like, mobs won't spawn when you're standing right here. Which is a little bit unfortunate, I guess. So, like, I can't stand here and watch it. The poor axolotls. However, we are already getting glow ink sacs. That's quite a few already, in fact. Considering it's only been like a couple minutes. Worth noting that I did go around before recording this episode, and, out here. And I cleared a lot of the caves, and specifically the underwater caves, and lit them up. So, the rates should actually be pretty decent. I think what I might want to do, though, is set up like a, some sort of viewing station. Maybe like dig into the wall here so that I can watch it. But anyways, it works. It looks horrible, but we unfortunately don't have enough time for me to finish decorating it, so that'll have to wait till next time. But for now, it works. And we have ourselves a glow squid farm. So that's nice. And again, very unobtrusive. You know, you wouldn't even necessarily even notice that it's here unless you were looking for it. And I can build, of course, a much more impressive and effective one later. Alright, before we finish our episode, I want to go ahead and check on some of this stuff. You know, one thing I actually don't know is, will the berries spawn on all these other parts? They've got to, right? I don't know. I'll have to find that out later. But let's look at our lava and check out that little test. Wow. Alright, well, based upon this result, you recall that the source blocks are this 27. I'm going to say that yes, it requires a source block because none of these are filled, even though it's dripping on them. So, hey, the more you know. And let's check on our dripstone. Wow. It actually looks pretty cool. Now, I must be mistaken because I was under the impression, from what I had read on the wiki previously, that dripstone, like, ticks one block every 5 days or something. But that seems to definitely not be the case. And then the same thing with the lava. I was under the impression that this would fill up very, very slowly, but it hasn't. I mean, that's pretty fast. Which is nice, I guess. You know what I should do is, instead of glowstone, I should put another water elevator there. Anyways, we have done quite a long episode, but hopefully you enjoyed this one. Built a few little mini farms, and I kind of enjoyed it. So in between this one and the next one, what I will likely do is finish up decorating that thing, and maybe optimize some other stuff. We were going to place some lightning rods today, but, you know, whatever. That's not all that exciting. I could do that on my own time. So that's about all I had for you today. Seeing that we do have a lot more left to do, I probably will do another episode sooner rather than later, especially now that we have a bunch of new content to look at. So look forward to that. And once again, thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next episode.